Oh my God, look at how crazy my hair is. I slept on it when it was wet, and now it looks kind of funky and wild. It kind of looks like I'm from the 70s, maybe. So, okay, I have a very important topic I want to discuss today, guys. It's this theme that I see with a lot of people, especially like the spiritual people who are working on having inner peace as well. And it's this issue of, okay, yes, I can have inner peace, except if this thing happened, okay? So, and that thing would be like, kind of like the worst fear. So like I hear in people's conversations a lot, like, yeah, I'm a super peaceful person, but just don't lie to me. Or just like, as long as my partner doesn't cheat on me. Or like, cause all hell would break loose then. Or like, I can have inner peace unless I lost all my money and like had to have this happen or whatever. So hi, Sam. So there's these situations that you feel like it would be impossible for you to have inner peace during those situations. And I'm here to tell you right now that if you're on a spiritual path, if you're on a path of personal growth, and you're asking for your dream life, you're asking to be the best possible person that you can be in this lifetime, this is what you're asking for. This is what you're calling in. Okay. So in order for you to be the best person that you could possibly be, you may have to deal with these fears, okay? Because they come from an untrue place. They come from a place of not soul. They come from a place of not love. And they come from a place that is not the truth of who you fucking are, okay? So if you are on a path of personal growth and development and you are saying shit like this, like, I can have inner peace except if this thing happens, that is the exact thing that you might have to have happen in order for you to be who you really are at a soul level, which is unfuckable with, unfuckwithable. I said that wrong. Unfuckable. Not unfuckable, unfuckwithable, right? So you need to have some of these painful experiences happen in order for you to see that you are ultimately not controlled by these experiences at all. And you are actually the one in control of your emotional state, okay? And I'm not saying that automatically for everybody, we all have to have our worst fears happen in order to be a better person. But if you're the kind of person, and I'm sure most of you are, I was, you're the kind of person that's asking for a better life. You're the kind of person who's asking to be the best possible version of yourself that you could be. And you still have these fears and hang-ups around certain situations, okay? That might be the exact situation that you need to have happen in order for you to realize that you actually are unstoppable and there is no situation that can take your peace away from you, okay? So a lot of people have fears. This is why I bring up triggering shit around relationships all the fucking time, is because a lot of people's worst fear, okay, I think it's like inherent in our human DNA, but a lot of people's worst fear is rejection and abandonment and, you know, being not lovable in a relationship sense. So if that's your worst fear, and you're going around, you know, wondering and worrying if you're going to be good enough for a relationship, or you're going around, you know, like in this paranoia-filled way, you know, thinking, am I going to get cheated on? Am I going to get dumped? Am I going to be left alone because this is something that I really fear? And like, oh my God, I sure hope this doesn't happen. Okay, that might be the exact thing that you need to have happen in order for you to realize that it doesn't fucking matter. And what you're believing in that moment, you know, those fears of being not enough, those fears of being alone or being not loved are absolutely not true. They're not the truth of who you are at a soul level. So if your soul wants you to become more of it, which it does, and you want to become more of your higher self in this lifetime, which you do, you might need to have some experiences happen where you are rejected, okay? Or like where that worst fear does come true so that you can know that you are unstoppable, and none of this actually matters. And it's not the truth of who you are. The fears, the bullshit beliefs, the not good enoughness, the ability to even be rejected or not loved is not really the actual soul truth of what's going on here, okay? And something that I've learned in my life is that everything is actually a mirror of what's going on within. So if you're really afraid of, like, what most people are afraid of is like rejection, there's actually a lot of self-rejection going on within. Yo, Peter, yo, Oyasumi, what's up, guys? Say hi when you pop on. So none of this is the reality of who you really are. And like, if you're one of those people who is really wanting to be the best in this lifetime, you want to be who you really are. You want to be the victor. You want to be winning, #winning at life. But you're saying things like, well, I'm totally peaceful, but if my partner cheats on me, I'm gonna act like a total crazy ass bitch and totally lose my center because, like, that's not okay. That might be the exact thing that you need to have happen, because if you're ready to grow and become a better individual, you will see that none of this shit actually has to affect your emotional state. But that's just an example that I feel is common for everybody, and especially with my clients, is like this sort of relationship insecurity, relationship jealousy, which is what my next program is going to be on, you guys, is healing your jealousy in your relationships, but also in your life, because jealousy is always a sign of unworthiness. Okay. And it's not true unworthiness. The truth is that you are worthy. But if you're feeling jealous of another, it's because you haven't accepted the fact that you are worthy as your truth. Okay. But it can be healed, and quickly, because the truth always wins. Love always wins, right? A thought of love is like 1,000 times more powerful than a thought of not love. Okay. So it's easy for people to come back into love. But yeah, I really want you to know, you guys, that like inner peace is possible, but you may in fact have to go through those situations that you most fear, especially if you're tightly like clinging on to the idea of them not happening. Like you're obsessively like, oh, I hope this doesn't happen, or I really hope this doesn't happen, or I really hope I don't get abandoned, or I really hope I don't get cheated on, or I really hope I don't look stupid, or I really hope that this person doesn't leave my life, or I really want the love and acceptance from this person, but if I don't get it, I'm gonna feel really crazy and sad and miserable, and it's gonna just like totally destroy me if that happens. Your soul, your higher self, you know, your part of you that's actually like not to be fucked with by any of the shit, might be like, okay, well, let's give her a little bit of that, just so she can know that those beliefs that she's thinking in her head are not actually the truth of who she really is. And we want her to become more unstoppable. We want her to become more like a clear lake, you know, her emotional state to just be like very like kind of like this, right? I was just talking with one of my best friends actually a few days ago about how we feel that we don't really have emotions anymore. Or if we do have emotions, we know exactly how to deal with them, and like we just don't really give a fuck about any of the things that we used to like go crazy over or go into like depressions over. And I was just like, yeah, it's like I don't really have emotions anymore. Like I feel feelings, but I don't have this like up and down thing that I used to have like my entire life. And I think it's because I become so freaking solid in myself that like, even if I do go a little bit off center, it's like I instantly just go right back to what I know to be true. And like you can get to a place of this too. It's called emotional freedom. It's called being who you actually are at a soul level, which is unfuckwithable. There, I said it right. And yeah, this is possible for you too, because trust me, like me and my good friend here, like we used to be like some of the most crazy ass bitches you would have ever come across. Like, and and now we just both feel like this kind of like this is how I describe my emotional state now. It's just like nothing really bothers me. Like I have people saying mean shit to me all the time on the internet. Like I have people leaving my life. But I have also really good things happening too. I'm just trying to give you an example of some of the more like shittier things so you can see that I really like don't give a fuck. But like that's also why I purposely want to trigger you guys around your relationships, because I know that, you know, relationships are such a sticky issue for people, because this is what brings up all that good stuff that's meant to be healed, right? And like, people aren't seeing it as a gift. They're clinging onto it in like fear and like almost even terror. Like, they're clinging onto these relationships out of like the freaking terror of being alone or being rejected, when like, oh my God, if you could just allow that rejection to happen and then heal yourself, the amount of emotional freedom and stability and clarity that you'll feel after, you will thank that person who hurt you. You will thank that person who rejected you, because now you are so unstoppable. And you know that there's nothing that can take away your inner center, your inner peace, right? Whereas before you thought, oh, you know, I can be in inner peace except if this happens, right? And that's not real inner peace, right? Inner peace should be unconditional, just as love should be unconditional. Okay, Lindsay says, yupper spot fucking on. Thank you. Right? And like, more and more people are awakening to this truth that like, inner peace is your responsibility. Like, you cannot depend on these people in your life to make you have inner peace. Like, they are always going to do something that's going to fuck with you. Like, even if you're the most spiritually enlightened human being on the planet, other people are always going to do something that is going to bother you, right? Like, it's just the nature of life. But you can become this person who's just so emotionally detached from outcomes, because you're getting all of your own self-worth from within. You're getting all of your own good feelings from within. And you're getting, you know, all of that unconditional love from within. So like, you don't actually really give a fuck what other people are doing. And like, you still love them and stuff like that, but you are not reliant on other people in order to feel a certain way. And that's when you can experience true inner peace. So you might actually have to have that bad thing happen. Like, I know for a long time, one of my worst fears was around like health stuff. I had a lot of fears around health when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, I was sick a lot. Like, I had pneumonia like every month. And like, so I grew up, and what would happen is like, whenever I had some like really exciting thing to do, I would get really sick. And that was like, I think one of my worst fears being manifested, because it was like, oh, like the worst fear was like, well, what if I can't do what I came here to do? And like, what if I'm held back by something that I feel I don't have control over, which we ultimately do, because everything is vibrational. So like, now I don't really get sick anymore. Or if I do, it's like kind of like an upgrade. And I know that like, I'm going to be okay. But like, that was one of my worst fears for a while, is like, what if I don't have control over my own body? And then like, I can't do what I came here to do. But another one of my worst fears too, when I was really like, when I was really like emotionally invested in a relationship with someone, one of my worst fears would be like that they're not going to be a part of my life anymore or something, right? Like, which is common for people before I healed all my shit and became this person. That was like one of my biggest fears. And then I had it happen. And like, but this time I was already asking for a better life. I was already asking to be the best person that I could possibly be for this lifetime. And then so when it happened, and I actually did get like so-called betrayed or abandoned in a relationship, I actually used it to become who I actually am, which is someone who is incredibly peaceful and solid, no matter what other people do. Okay? And I used it to my own benefit and growth, or for my own benefit and growth. And now I don't have a fear of that happening, because I saw the person that it made me. And like, I'm almost like getting chills right now. Like, it made me who I really am now. And now I don't have those fears. And now the way that I feel in my life is so free, because I'm not dependent on anybody else acting a certain way in order to please me, because I know that I will always be okay. And I know that everything always works out for me. And I know that any pain that I do experience, which there's very little of now, but if there is any more, I know that it's helping me heal any little blockages that I have left in becoming closer to my soul and becoming closer to unconditional love. So it's a gift. It's a gift. And if more people could see it that way, we could embrace the pain instead of running away from it, or instead of blaming others for the fact that we have some triggering shit going on. And we could just love people, and we could just love ourselves, and we could just live without these fears and just be freaking inner peace, and know that we can be in inner peace no matter what happens, okay? Even insert your worst fear, okay? Even if that happened, we can still be in inner peace because we know where it actually comes from. Your inner peace is not coming from some other person, or it's not even coming from a certain situation in your life. Your inner peace is always coming from within you, right? And you may think that like the love in your life is coming from another person, when it never was. It was always coming from within you. And what you have to understand is that everything that you see in your outer world is just a projection of what's going on within you. So actually healing your emotional state should be your number one freaking priority, because as soon as you do that, everything else changes in your life. And if you've done that, you'll see already, like you'll see when you come to a new level of self-love, people fucking love you. Or like when you come to a place of stability, your life gets stable. It's you. It's always been you. And you always have the power to change your emotional state. Thank you for the hearts, Kimberly. Hi, Beverly. You always have the power to come back into inner peace. Even if that thing, insert worst fear, happens, okay? And that thing happening just might be the best thing that could ever happen to you, because you become who you really are, which is peace. That's all I wanted to say, you guys. I gotta go to the gym and tanning, like right now, while I'm still in this energy. So we'll talk super soon, and stay tuned for my Healing Your Jealousy program, which is gonna be totally amazing. Okay, remember, you came for the joy of living. Bye, guys.